Hey everyone, here's our next video for our notes. It's on asteroids. Listen, when we do these PowerPoints, what I would prefer you to do is listen to the whole thing, and at the end, I will go over the things that you need to write down. I think that would be better, but I want you to listen to the whole thing and hear what's being said, and then I will tell you what to put in your journals for your notes. Okay, so this is on asteroids, and by the time this is over, you should be able to tell me the physical properties, where they're located, and how they move in our solar system. And asteroids are just big rocks, mainly. Um, I wouldn't say they're big, they're just rock pieces, let's just say that. Because they can be as tiny as dust particles, but as big as 600 miles across. Um, and all of this is found in what is called the asteroid belt that's located between Mars and Jupiter. So if you look over here at this picture, here's the orbit for Mars, right here. And out here is Jupiter. And it's in between the big gap there, there's this ring that goes around. It's almost like a donut. And it consists of all of these particles and rocks that just sit and orbit the sun. Okay, there's millions of asteroids in our solar system. Um, they think that it's the remains like whenever our solar system was first formed. If you, some people that do believe in the Big Bang Theory, some people don't, but they believe that when the two clashed together, the debris particles that were left over were caught up in this orbit around the sun, and they've stayed there since. Um, in the asteroid belt, there, like I said, it could be small as dust particles, but the largest asteroid currently in the asteroid belt is Ceres. And so Ceres is so big that they consider it a dwarf planet. And so in future things that you'll see when we talk about the asteroid belt, wherever Ceres is located, they'll usually point to it and say, Ceres, the dwarf planet, is located here. Um, and so that's the largest asteroid in the asteroid belt. Now, that the cool piece of information to know is that all of those dust particles and all those rock pieces and Ceres, even though we call it a dwarf planet, the mass of all those things, if you were to put them in one big clump, is still less than our Earth's moon. So when I say these are particles of rocks and pieces of rocks, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, here is a picture of like a regular piece of rock that's floating out there. This is what they would consider most asteroids to look like. They're not, they don't have a particular shape. They're like oddball pieces. But the one on the right is Ceres. It's the dwarf planet that's in the asteroid belt. It's more shaped like a planet. It looks more like a planet. That's why they gave it the dwarf planet. Uh, I want to say stigma, but uh, categorized it that way. Excuse me. I guess that's how I should say that. Okay. So some information that I found on the NASA website. I know that we talked about comets. We talked about the Kuiper Belt and the Oort cloud. I wanted to go back to the Kuiper Belt and remind you that yes, that is where comets come from, but also there's asteroid pieces out there. And one of our most famous dwarf planets, Pluto, is out there. It's an actual huge asteroid shaped like a planet that's over 600 miles wide. I've included the link here. What you'll have to do to get to this link is I will upload the PowerPoint itself, and you can go back to it and click on the link and go get some information and look at it. There's lots of pictures on there of different asteroids. They've taken pictures of them, and you'll get to see it. Okay, some interesting facts about Pluto. Since we don't consider it a planet anymore, I still kind of wanted to give you some information on it. It's called the King of the Kuiper Belt, and there is another asteroid out there that's considered a dwarf planet too. Its name is Eris. Um, but today we're just going to talk about Pluto. It was discovered in 1930, and its orbit is a repeating stable orbit. It The reason they don't classify it as a planet anymore is because um, it doesn't stay outside of Neptune's orbit. It actually crosses into Neptune's orbit at certain times. So what happens is, although it crosses into that orbit, um, it gets closer to Uranus than it does Neptune. So if you'll read right here, it says Pluto's orbit is a stable repeating pattern with Neptune's. For every 3 orbits completed by Neptune, Pluto makes 2 orbits. So you can see that Neptune, of course, makes it faster. It's actually closer than Pluto is, and that's part of the issue there. Um, it it never, whenever it crosses into Neptune's orbit, it never gets close enough that the gravity, because Neptune is so huge, Neptune's gravity doesn't ever pull it in. Actually, like I said a minute ago, it gets closer to Uranus than it does Neptune, but it doesn't get close enough to either one of them that the gravity pulls it in. This is an additional, if you'll notice the last 3 slides I have given you contain extra information that you can go get on these topics with these links. So make sure you go back to the PowerPoint and go to these links. This is a picture of of Pluto here on the right. It's beautiful colors. You can see the different aspects of it. If you go onto this link here, it has more pictures. It has more information. You'll be able to check out Pluto, and the Hubble telescope took some pictures of it. It's really cool information. So make sure you go there and check. Okay, so information that I want you to actually write down though. Okay, so if we go back to the beginning of our slides. Okay, I want you to write down what an asteroid is, a rocky mass that orbits the sun. I want you to know that they could be as small as dust particles, but big as a dwarf planet. And that most asteroids are found in the asteroid belt, and that belt is located between Mars and Jupiter. If you need to draw this picture, draw the picture in your journal. That will help as well. I don't really think that there's too much here. You might want to write down that Ceres is the dwarf planet that is located in the asteroid belt, and you might want to write something down that it's the remains of the formation of the solar system. Other than that, on this page, there's not too terribly much. This is just little extra information here, just so you could better understand. And then the information that's back here, the only other thing that I want you to do is write that in the Kuiper Belt, asteroids are found as well. And Pluto is considered an asteroid and also a dwarf planet. So I just need you to make sure that you understand that. Other than those pieces of information, I just want you to go check out the links and look on the nasa.gov website to see what all the Hubble has taken for pictures and other information that you can get. Make sure you write that information down. It's not a lot here on asteroids, but you've got to know the information. Y'all have a good evening. Make sure you wash your hands. Stay safe. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.